Fire away. Is this the one where we call on people, or is you doing it?
Hi, Coach. Good afternoon. Federico Olvera from Damebola for Radio 13, Mexico City. Coach, this is not a boxing match. However, the next Sunday, this is going to be a real battle. After you arriving to the Kansas City Chiefs, you were fired as soon as the coach Andy Reid arrived. Sorry. After,
Yeah, I'm
uh,
following you.
is this a kind of a revenge for you? What are your feelings and your thoughts about this?
No, no, I don't look at it that way. I don't think it's about. It's not about me. Uh, and this is the profession that I chose, right? And you're gonna move around a little bit. You're gonna have your job once in a while, and he had a wide receiver coach, and who was also his assistant head coach, and I was the wide receiver coach there, and so naturally I was just out. But I don't look at it that way. I actually have a lot of respect for the whole organization. Coach Reed had a lot of good times, both professionally and personally, in Kansas City. That's where I met my wife. So got a lot of fun memories of Kansas City. The head coach, wide receiver coach there, and so naturally I was out. So but that way I respect for the whole organization. Coach Reed had a lot of good times, both
Support in your hometown.
Yeah, I think she did something when she did this. I got a couple videos, or she was they better do that. I mean, shoot, my brother and my sister-in-law still teach there, so I think it was only that probably because I teach there, but it was because they teach there. But that's nice that they do that, and that's I'm obviously flattered there. Um, I put a lot of hard work into in that at that school in my athletic career, probably a little bit more than my academic career, but I put a lot of hard work into that. And so that's nice to be honored by our hometown.
Thanks, Coach. Jonathan Kersley from Nine Network Australia. Jordan Mailata, if you could talk briefly about him from an Australian perspective, how important for a cog in the wheel is he in your team? And Aaron Sipple, get a chance this weekend?
Yeah, if you have in our Philly media for the entire year, we give injury information on Aaron. You guys can talk about that with the Philly media guys. They'll let you know. I don't give that much information there, but um, as far as Jordan goes, what I really admire about Jordan is that he's like a protector in many ways. Like that's his job to protect the quarterback, and then it's just the way he is as a teammate. He protects his teammates. He loves his teammates. He fights for his teammates. And so super important to this team. Jordan Mailata is super important to this team. Guys love him. Heck of a football player. And like I said, he's got this, protection. That's just what he does, and he does a really good job at it. What I think is really amazing about Jordan is that this guy first of all, we all know how good of a singer he is, right? That's very well documented. Then he plays professional rugby, and then all of a sudden he takes up a sport like football at the age of whatever he was when he did that 21, 22. Now he's one of the premier tackles in our league. And so what can this guy not do? God's blessed him with a lot of different talents, and he's using them. Mhm.
No, no, no.
Medical staff that you got in and the players have put in?
Yeah, we spend a lot of time obviously about the players and what we can do to keep them healthy while also getting them ready to play football games. That we have a lot of different people that give me information, right? Our strength coaches, our trainers, our doctors give me information. At the end of the day, I have to do what I feel is best for the team as far as practice, getting them ready for practice and everything like that. But I'm not an expert in those things, so I use the experts' advice. And so I got a lot of good people that are giving me information. And there's a little bit of luck to it also, but we work really hard at the nutrition, at the sports science, everything that goes into it to keep the guys healthy because we have a lot of talented players on our roster, but if they're not available, then you know then their talents can't be seen. So again, like I said, just have a lot of good people that are giving me good information, and our guys really do it, and so it starts there, and then our guys do a great job of taking care of their bodies when they do have injuries, rehabbing their bodies, and I'm just kind of obsessed with that.
Coach Sirianni, Evan Walker, WXL 91.7. When it comes to defensive
What
game,
city's that?
Danbury, Connecticut, sir.
Okay.
When it comes to defensive game planning against a guy like Travis Kelsey, how do you cover a guy like that? Do you put a linebacker, defensive back, just because of his physical size and speed?
Yeah, we're not going to tell you all that about who we're going to put on them, but you got to give them different looks, and you got to understand, you're trying to take away um, the good things that he does, and he does a lot of things really well. And so, you know, you're just aware of where he is at all times, right? And any good playmaker, and obviously with him, he's made so many plays throughout his career through this year, playoffs. We got to know where he is at all times, and it's not. I don't think it's just a one man person. It's not just one guy's job. Like you stop him, right? There's a lot of different hats that we'll throw and that we'll have to use. And like I said, it'll be a team, and this is why this is the greatest team sport there is. I mean, there's no other team sport like this, and so it's going to take all 11 of us on defense that are playing to make sure that we're accounting for him at all times.
Hey, Nick, after a couple of days of media craziness, how nice was it to get the guys back on the practice field today? And were you happy, satisfied with the focus and the mindset that you saw from the guys?
Yeah, our guys are locked in. We understand that there's a lot of distractions. There's a lot of things that aren't a part of our typical week. So we have to do our best to make sure that our routine stays the same in the midst of the madness, right? And so our guys understand that. That's been our message all week. Our guys, we've had a lot of guys on this team that have been to the top of the mountain, have won the Super Bowl, have been to national championship games, have won national championship games, and so they understand that. And so, again, that's my message to them. But we have great leaders that carry that message out. And so, um, we kind of compare it to a basketball player, who's getting ready to shoot a free throw, right? You're focused on your routine. If you take three dribbles and spin the ball, and then you breathe, and then you shoot, and then you can block out all the outside noise that's happening. And so we kind of try to compare it to that to make sure we're in the moment and going through our routines to go 1-0 today, so we have a chance to go 1-0 on Sunday.
Nick, Nick Ryan Dunleavy from the New York Post. After what happened to the 49ers with their quarterback situation, will you consider on Sunday having Ian Book available, 3 quarterbacks available for this game, and then going forward, would you like to see that rule change where 3 quarterbacks are available so we don't have a situation like that again?
Everything, we always discuss everything in all situations. And so everything's always on the table for that. I guess I'm not going to answer that completely, but everything is we're always looking at everything, and it's always on the table. As far as the rule change, I try to only control what I can control. After that, does the rule change? Maybe. But I don't know, and we'll just play the rules that we have right now until it change.
Nick, you've had a full season now with seeing Devontae and AJ together. What do you think that Devontae has learned from AJ on the field, and what do you see vice versa when it comes to AJ learn from Devontae?
Yeah, I think, Devontae, they both have these different abilities. They're both phenomenal receivers in their own way, and they both have different abilities and different skill sets. And so anytime you're adding your skill set from somebody who's an expert at it, right? Kind of similar to the question the guy asked me over there. I'm asking, of getting information from our doctors and everything like that. You're gonna improve yourself. And so, AJ plays with strength and quickness and really goes and plucks the ball in traffic. And Devontae is this route runner who has a great feel and a great understanding of how to attack. And so, you take little pieces of people's game and you use it, and so there's definitely things, as far as route running, AJ's picked up from Devontae, and then there's definitely things that Devontae's taken from AJ of how to use his body and how to create separation with his body, like AJ does.
Hi, Nick. Jory Epstein, Yahoo Sports. Your quarterbacks have talked this week about how Brian Johnson can help simplify things when he's coaching them. Can you think of an example when you've seen him do that? And more broadly, what has been Brian's impact on Jalen's development the last 2 years?
Yeah, that's a good question. Brian and Jalen's relationship goes back a long way. With Brian playing for Jalen's father, and so that they already had an instant connection when he got in there, and that. There's a couple different ways that players and coaches connect. Sometimes it's through the knowledge of the game that you're helping them become a better player, and then it opens the door to connect. And sometimes it's because you have mutual interest, mutual things that you have in common that leads to you being able to get them better. So it can go either way there. And so that was an instant connection. And Brian's a really smart coach, and Brian's played the position of quarterback at a very high level. He was second runner up for the Heisman behind Sam Bradford, so he's played this game at a high level at Utah, and now he coaches it at a high level. And I think what you always want for coaches is to make this game that is complex, right, simple, right? So because they're making these decisions in split seconds, and it's hard to play this game in your mind super complex. You have to play it simple, so you play fast. And Brian does a great job of that, of just putting himself in the shoes of of a quarterback, because he's been there, and then just simplifying the reads for him, simplifying the checks for him, simplifying the defense, and chunking information together. And I'm really glad that Brian Johnson's on this staff. I didn't know him prior to this, and I just get more and more impressed by him every day of how good of a coach he is, and he's contributed to a lot of our success and a lot of Jalen's success.
Right side, halfway up the aisle. Probably have time for 2 more.
Nick King from 3TV CBS 5 here in Phoenix. Have you thought about what it might feel like, what might be going through your mind on Sunday, out on the field, maybe right before kickoff?
Again, I'm trying to stay in the moment of every day that we're in, and just, obviously my obligation right now is to do media, and then it will go back to going with the players. But, that's something that I've always thought about, like, what it might be to hear the national anthem at a Super Bowl, because it's such the moment that I remember most as a kid growing up in Jamestown, New York, near the Buffalo area, was I really remember that Whitney Houston one where she sang in the Bills versus the Giants, and how powerful it was, and it's like, and you get the goosebumps thinking about it, like getting ready to play that game. And so you think about that, and then you go and you become a player of different sports, and you're feeling that moment in that, and then but you think about being in that moment of the Super Bowl, of listening to the national anthem, how much that's going to mean, and because it kind of makes you think about all the hard work that you had to go through to get to the moment that you're in right now. And so it'll be a good feeling, and I'm not going to let myself get wrapped up in that feeling, because we're right after that we're gonna have a job to do. But I will let myself enjoy that moment for a second, and enjoy that feeling, because there was a lot of hard work by a lot of people, and everyone's going to feel this way. There's a lot of people that helped me get to this spot that I'm in right now, and a lot of people on our, from our guys, they're going to feel the same way. A lot of people that have helped them get into the spot, and it's just it'll be cool to kind of listen to it, and then get to work.
We'll go 2 more. We got one here back to the left.
Hey, Nick. Tony Grossi from ESPN Cleveland. You have a lot of good players on defense. What has Jonathan Gannon brought to the table as part of that defensive package you have going?
Yeah, our job as coaches is to, take the players that we have and then put them in positions to succeed, where they can use their talents and have their talents shine. And it's also to teach them the fundamentals, to take their game to another level, right? We got these unbelievable guys, like you said, and then how are we going to teach them fundamentals to take their game to another level and get them a little bit better at what they do? And so Jonathan does a great job of both those things. I think any coach anytime I'm looking for a coach to be on my staff, I want to know two things. Can they scheme, right? And can they scheme and put the guys in position to make plays? And can they teach the guys the fundamentals to allow them to get better? That was something that I was always taught as a young football coach, and Jonathan Gannon does that, and he does that really well. And I was able to see it, on display for 3 years in Indianapolis, and now I've been able to see it for, again, another 2 years here in Philadelphia.
Last question on the right-hand side. We got Jalen Hurts on deck.
Nestor McGregor, BBC News from London. Hey, Coach, I wanted to know, you deal with pressure all the time, but someone like myself, if it's a big day, I will wear the same boxer shorts. I will drink coffee out of the same cup. I walk down the road in exactly the same fashion. Do you have a match day routine or something to kind of zen you?
That used to be something that I really thought about a lot, to be quite honest with you. Like, I think that was something I thought about when I played, and maybe the first couple of years that I coached, and I began to think, like, this is exhausting. I can't remember what I did or what I did here, and at the end of the day, my superstition is not to be superstitious. Routine is different to me than superstition, and so when I say something in a staff room and someone knocks on wood or something like that, I'm like, stop that. That has nothing to do with if we're going to win or lose the game, or if we're going to be successful on this play. So not to shoot down what you do, because that works for you, baby. You do what you need to do. But for me, that's just not what I do, because I believe in routine, though, and and that the hard work prepared us to be in the position to succeed.
All right, thanks, folks. Jalen will be up in a second.
I know how seriously you take your preparation week to week, but have you given yourself an opportunity to really enjoy this experience a little bit more?
Yeah, I think everything we've been able to do this week, you definitely want to soak it all in. It's something we worked really hard to, get to this point. Obviously, we coming for a reason and having a goal in mind, but just soaking it in with our teammates. We were just out there playing Uno, playing spades, so we soaking it in.
Hey, Jalen. Over here, to your right. Here, Jalen.
There you go.
Hey, obviously you took care of the football really well this year, just 6 interceptions, but obviously took your shots downfield as well. How did you manage that balance to have the trust in AJ, Devontae, the rest of the playmakers, while also taking care of the football?
Yeah, I think the important thing is to always fall back on your work, fall back on your preparation. I was telling AJ today, I said it's no different than us being at FAU, getting our work in there in the off season. So, you really want to rely on your preparation, and I think, we prepared really well all off season, had really good time with each other, got on the same page with the coaches in terms of how we wanted this offense to look, how we want this team to look, and we just tried to carry that to the season. So I don't think anything is going to change in terms of our plan and going into the game.
Over here, Jalen. Second row.
Jalen, Dave Naylor, TSN in Toronto. Can you tell us a little bit about just the sense of satisfaction you have being here this week, given the things you went through in your college career, not being a first-round pick and starting your career out in a number 2 role?
Yeah, I don't think I've just willingly reflected on everything this far, so I won't start now. I think we worked really hard to get to this point, so definitely a blessing to be here.
Second row.
Hey, Jalen. Here from
right.
Here. Hi. Sammy from Paris. Nice to see you. I have
Paris.
a question. Yeah, you should come down. I got PSG tickets for you.
Okay.
Okay. If everything goes well Sunday, you get the trophy. What are your top 2 places you'd like to take the trophy? And is Paris one of those?
I really haven't thought about it. You just put it on my radar now, so that might be a destination at some point. But like I said, man, we worked really hard, and to even have this opportunity in front of us is a huge blessing, and I think it's only a testament to the work we put in as a team, every man on this team. So we'll see what happens.
Front row, left.
Yeah, Jalen, D. Orlando Ledbetter, the Atlanta Journal-Constitution. I was talking to Chip Smith, over the years, and he was just telling us back 3 years ago when you were training with him that, he was predicting this for you when a lot of people were not. Can you go back to that time and your time in Atlanta working with Coach Chip Smith?
Yeah, Chip, man, he's kind of the originator of the whole off-season training thing, and I spent a lot of good time with him in Atlanta, and he has a lot of wisdom. He puts in work the old-fashioned way. Have a lot of respect for him, and I definitely appreciate his support.
Fourth row on the right.
Hey, Jalen, right here. Zach Swartz with the Big 12. So first time, I
Okay.
believe in Super Bowl history, the two Big 12 quarterbacks have faced off against each other. Obviously there for 1 year, but just thoughts on kind of that history and just your thoughts of and memories playing there at Oklahoma.
I've always had a very high respect for offense in the Big 12 and football in the Big 12. My respect for the conference definitely grew when I had to play in the conference. And you see all the quarterbacks that come through the Big 12, and obviously Pat and myself playing in this game. I think it's a great representation of the conference. So a lot of great football in the Big 12.
Fourth row on the left.
Hi, Jalen. Coy Wire, CNN. Such a big part of your inspiring story is how the love of your father has shaped you, guided you, has uplifted you as you chase your dreams. What does Dad mean to you?
It means everything to me. He's my hero. I always talk about, my childhood experiences, and I feel like that's what makes me who I am, leaning on those things and leaning on my time with him. I feel like I'm a direct reflection of him and a spitting image of him in so many ways, and I love him and I respect him for how tough he was on me, how honest he was with me, and the man that he raised. So I don't think there is obviously there isn't a Jalen Hurts with my dad, but I'm not the man I am. I'm not the man I am on the field, off the field, the quarterback I am, the leader I am. I'm none of that without him. So he knows that. He knows that. He knows I love him. I appreciate him always.
Eighth row to the right.
Jalen right here. Justin Walters with Pix 11 News. A few of your teammates have described you as Socrates many times, and I've heard you obviously seen them repeat your favorite quotes. I'm wondering if there's a favorite Bible scripture or even a quote you've used this week to rely on for the big game.
Yeah, I often speak about John 13:7. Jesus replied, "You may not know now, but later you understand." And that is something that I've been able to lean on, since I really got to college. Something that resonated with me and something that stuck with me. And I feel like it applies to all of us. We all go through moments of unclarity and we don't know what's what, but it'll always be okay in the end. You just have to have faith in that. So that's one that's very important to me.
Front row to the left.
Jalen, I'm here, Heiko Older from Germany. It's the Super Bowl will be the number one of the regular season for the NFC. It's the number one of the AFC. What kind of game do you actually expect?
It'll be a great game. It'll be a battle. You got the best of the best playing against one another. Two really good teams, two well-coached teams, stacked with players. So it'll be a competitive game.
Seventh row to the right.
Hi, Jalen. Ricardo Lopez from Mundo NFL. Which is the most difficult part about running an offense in a pro level?
Well, I think for me personally, my experience with being thrusted in so many different situations and having so many different coaches throughout my career in college and even in this level now, I think the number one thing is you have to invest into your teammates. You have to invest into your teammates. You have to invest time with your coaches as well. I think it's important to go out there and build relationships with the people around you, the people that you're going to be playing with, so everyone can play that much harder for one another. I feel like if you have a relationship with someone, you know them on a personal level, whatever that means, I feel like they're going to play harder for you on the field. So I think that's been a huge credit to where we are now. I think that's why we've come so far, because we've been truly connected all year. We've been on the same page in everything that we've done. And, we've competed hard for one another. So you can see that passion. You can see that passion on the field. You can see that passion in the stands. The city of Philly, all of it. It all goes together.
Pat Burnett with WXCI 91.7. Jalen, I just wanted to ask, how have you been preparing for your first career Super Bowl appearance?
I've been doing the same things that I've done all year. I think I've been doing the same things I've done all year. My preparation hasn't changed. This team's preparation hasn't changed. We've kind of gone into it with the day-by-day mentality, taking it day by day, trying to master the day, win the day, and doing it that way.
Hey Jalen, how easy was it to build your chemistry with AJ, and what's your relationship like with him?
Yeah, a very, I think it's always cool. I always reflect on how cool it is to play with guys that you've known for a very long time. I got guys from Oklahoma in that locker room, guys from Alabama in that locker room. Then the vets, feel like I've known them for years, so talking with AJ specifically, our whole backstory and background with me trying to get him to come to Alabama. It didn't work out the first time, but it worked out this time, and we've been enjoying it. We've kind of hit the ground running, and it's something that we want to do here for a long time.
Second row to third row to the left.
Hey, Jalen, I was going to kind of ask you the same question, but as a follow-up, what's the thing about your relationship with both AJ and Devontae where you guys can get on each other, you can criticize each other? How does that make you guys better, and how does that work on and off the field?
Yeah, I think birds of a feather flock together, and I think those are guys that I call true friends, and not only because of men that they are, but the friends that they are, the competitors they are, what drives them, what motivates them to be great. And we come in every day eager to take another step, and we know we are, we know no one is independent in this thing. We're all dependent off of one another, so we challenge each other, we encourage each other, and we push each other.
Third row to the right.
Nesta McGregor, BBC Sport from London. Jalen, I've only seen you on the TV. Can I say you're much bigger in real life?
I get that a lot.
Secondly, we are due to meet some of the medical staff from up and down the NFL tomorrow, I believe. We know the league has made rules to make the opposition safer and all across the board, but occasionally they're called into action. We saw it this season. What would you say to them, for the work they do, and how safe do you feel knowing you're in the hands of the very best if anything does happen on that field?
Yeah, I think there's been, just reflect on how much good has happened this year in terms of that. I think you could talk about all the different improvements that you can make, but to have the security and that safety, I think it's very important to all of us. So we appreciate it. I appreciate it.
Take two more. Over here to the left.
Jalen, Jose Villalba from Multimedios in Millennium, Mexico. Talk about your process of building your character throughout the years since high school, college, pros. You have been coached by some great men, Nick Saban, Lincoln Riley, Doug Peterson, now Nick Sirianni. Great minds. How that's helped you to put you together to get to this point to be here in the Super Bowl?
Yes. I call them formative experiences. I call all of those things that I've been able to go through. Every person that has had a hand on my growth, my development, been a part of this process. I'm only 24 too, so it's kind of just beginning, but I give a lot of credit to all of that. I always go back and say I wouldn't change anything. And a lot of that started from my father. It all started with my father. My experiences as a coach's kid, being on the sideline, being a ball boy. Some of the best times of my life, a lot of my character, a lot of what I believe in, how I am as a leader, how I try to influence and impact the people around me, it comes from those Texas Friday Night Lights. You know, it comes from those experiences and just the upbringing. So.
Last one right here. Jalen, is there a sense of pride, if that's what it is, by all the history you're making for the culture, not just being a starting Black quarterback in the Super Bowl, but also with your agent, Nicole, being part of the Divine Nine? Is it pride, or what is it that you feel knowing that it means so much for the culture?
Yes, it's a ton of pride in everything that's going on right now. And I think when you thrusted into these situations, you're thrusted with these opportunities at hand, you don't really realize the impact you're doing until you reflect on it. And I think to have these opportunities and be able to represent so many different people, greet, people back home in Texas, quarterbacks that maybe they, said they couldn't do some or whatever it is, and, just believers. Something I definitely have on my heart when I'm out there playing. I definitely never forget where I come from, and most importantly, I know that there are kids out there watching. There's always kids out there watching. Kids back in Texas, Philly, Florida, Cali, here in AZ, wherever it is, it's always a kid out there watching. And I heard someone say, I don't know if it was Michael Jordan or Kobe, but sometimes you get families and kids that save up all their money just to go to that one game. Just to go to that one game. They may not ever get to see you play in person again, so you definitely want to put on a show for them when they come.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Last one for me. What excites you about the matchup that you two have on Sunday against Kansas City in that back end?
We're just excited just because, we're in the Super Bowl, regardless of who we're playing. They do a really good job in the back end. Like I said earlier, they try to take guys away, try to double guys. But we're excited. We're excited for the matchup. We know we got to make plays, and, it's going to come down to making plays, and, so no problem.
AJ, you have a background in baseball, going back to high school. Can you talk a little bit about that experience and how you made your decision to play football?
I made the decision because I like scoring touchdowns more than I hit home runs. And I'd rather score touchdowns in front of thousands of fans than hit a home run in front of 15 people in rookie ball.
How you been able to adapt to this RPO type offense with the Eagles coming from a more conventional offense in Tennessee?
I mean, at the end of the day, routes are routes, you know. I pride myself trying to be a complete receiver, so running every route, regardless of which team I'm on, and, that's what I pride myself into, so,
Lastly, you got a lot of fans from mixed Latin America that follow the Eagles and yourself. What would you like to say?
Just thank you for the support, football is a great game. I feel like it's the greatest game in the world, and just to have fans all over show support, from afar, we appreciate them. So,
You've always had a good temperature on the team. Can you tell us after going through a walk one day, the focus, the confidence of this team?
The focus is normal, I just feel like we're locked in, we have to be, because there's so many distractions, and I feel like right now we're doing a really good job at it. You really can't judge a walkthrough, I mean, you can, we don't got like a lot of MAs or anything because the players was in last week, so, just tuning up some things, but I feel like we're in a good place right now moving forward. So.
Devontae Smith, playing big games, playing big games in college. Devontae said, we love the stage. Do you think that most of the guys on this team like the big stage?
I think the really dominant ones do. It drives them, because these are the games that you dream about, and those guys have definitely played in those big games and done really well in those big games too. So, so I'm excited they're on my side.
How about you?
Of course, I'm ready for the game. I haven't played in a big game like this, but I have played in some big games in my career too.
AJ.
I definitely matured as a man, matured as a football player. Just matured in ways of learning that it's a business, and kind of removing my feelings from it. Yeah, most definitely. I actually did a little segment on Rob Moore with FedEx. Just saying basically, he was like a mentor to me, still is, and he's just helped me out tremendously. The success that I have on the field really comes from him. Just laying the foundation as soon as I got to the league, teaching me things, and really just steering me in the right direction. Yeah, a lot of guys reached out to me. Vrabel reached out to me the San Fran game. I have no hard feelings with nobody, man. It's nothing but love, and they're still showing me love too. So, of course, man, I wish the organization really well, because I got teammates, friends on that team. I want them to succeed. So, of course, man, I want those guys to succeed. I do, but I think early on, as a man, I could say, I was speaking from a place of feelings, and I had to learn that it's a business, and I think so, I mean, it comes down to some stuff I can't control, and I try to do everything in my power, and I think that was for me, the big thing for me was trying to prove that, I didn't really have to, so it was just like a misconception, but I have no hard feelings from nobody in Tennessee or fans or none of that. Tennessee gave me my first shot, so it's definitely respect. What would I want them to know?
Crazy, I didn't even know that it was this many football fans around the world. Like you said, you just came from Denmark. Like, that's crazy to me to think that you flew all the way from Denmark to Arizona just to ask that question. You know what I'm saying? So it's crazy when you think that this sport outside of America could be that big. Outside of the States could be that big.
About the chip on your shoulder because of the season you've had, does that do anything to you to want to really exceed in this game coming up Sunday?
Oh yeah, most definitely, man. You know, I the chip on my shoulder that just came from being overlooked, but now that kind of getting the recognition and stuff like that, man. More so, it's just about being a great player for me now. The legacy. What am I going to leave behind? What are they going to say about me when I'm done playing this football game? At the end of the day, that's what I'm trying to do now. I'm trying to be remembered.
With Andrew Wiley earlier today, and he had, of course, a lot of respect for you. What are your keys for going into the game and matchup against him?
Oh man, just going ahead, being myself at the end of the day, trying to continue to do the same things that I did all season. I feel like they're gonna have a game plan and they're gonna have some things they want to do to try to take me out of the game. But it's just going, the best thing about me is being relentless. I've been that all year, so that's what I'm going to take with me.
What are the qualities on this defensive front that make it so tough to face?
Say it one more time.
What are the qualities of your defensive front that make it so difficult for teams to face?
I think it's the fact that we could rotate and still keep the same level of intensity and play up. You know what I'm saying? Me and I could come out the game, Sweaty could come out the game, then you got BG and you got Robin, and you're going to get the same type of performance damn near. So I think that's the biggest part. Even with our interior D-line, you know what I'm saying? Fletch come out, Grave come out. You got young guys that, Milton, JD, Jordan Davis. We had Linval. We added Sue. We just got so many great pieces. Even our rotation is great, and I think that's what makes it hard for teams. Yeah, man. I thought I didn't think it was ironic. I just thought it was a great story. To be here, not have any success until my last year, ended up going back home. After going to Carolina, ended up going back home, my hometown team, and now I'm back in AZ getting ready to play for a Super Bowl. I mean, man, that's sweet right there. That's major, and I'm grateful to just be in this position at the end of the day. And not recently. I ain't gonna sit here and say recently, but nah, man. Man, I ain't watching Von. Much respect to Von. I love Von. Been a fan of him since I was young and started pass rushing. But man, I'm focused on, as I've gotten older and as I've grown with experience into this game, I stopped trying to be like people and started implementing the game in my own type of style, my own way. And I believe you can see that when you watch my game. So it's not to say, oh, no, I'm not going, not like that. But right now, man, I'm just focused on Kansas City Chiefs. Most definitely. They saying it now. Man, I see a lot of things, I see a lot of things, and I have a game plan, but he's a bigger body. He's a bigger body. He likes to use his hands, So it's going to be a great matchup. I can't wait to get out there in front of him and see how the matchup goes.
What was the most tricky part of start running this defense in the first place?
Say it one more time.
The most tricky part to start running this defense in the first place.
It wasn't nothing tricky about it, man. I've been in similar systems, Only thing difference is maybe in a certain coverage call, they want me to do something different here than what I've done in that same coverage call, but just in a different defense in Carolina or Arizona. But nothing tricky about it at all, man. I came in, I understood the playbook from day one. It was a great fit.
Tell me about your personal motivation.
My personal motivations is, man, just do whatever it takes to bring that trophy back home at the end of the day. I ain't really worried about much other than that. We've done a heck of a job getting here. Now it's about sealing the deal and getting the trophy. No problem.
How much do you know about Wilt Chamberlain?
I know quite a few about Wilt. I know some things about Wilt. Let's see what you about to add.
Of every athlete that's ever played in the city who's from, I mean, you're basically from Philadelphia.
he's probably the greatest one. You might end up being number 2 on this list if you win on Sunday. What would that mean to be like a hometown guy who won in his city and just be mentioning the same name as Big Ben?
Oh man, it would be crazy, you know. Speaking because you talked about Wilt, man, just the player and the legacy that he left behind. You know, being a player from Philly, just the same thing, man. If I could be an asset and help my team win this game and bring a trophy back home, I mean, that's what even though it was about fulfilling a childhood dream for me, man, I mean, that's the ultimate goal, you know, was to bring a chip back home for my city. So, man, to be a part of that, I mean, I know it'd be special for the city, but it
It's just like I'm trying to just stay grounded and eliminate as many distractions as I can. And it's kind of sad to say this, but it is sad to say this, John, but that is a distraction, you know. And they understand it, and I love that they respect my boundaries that I'm putting up in order for me to go out there and do my job. They understand my role in this team and how important it is for me to execute my job. And so, yeah, they understand that. We're on the same page. So it makes it easier for me to just be, you know, again, more calm right now and just go out there and play ball.
Is there something you do this week to avoid distractions? Is there something you bought from Philly that says, you know, I'm going to keep this as regular as possible, keep my routine?
Probably my guitar and just, again, anytime you're hanging with the boys, but, you know, playing ping pong. I don't know if you guys can, you probably haven't seen it. We got cornhole, ping pong, and a couple of the boys brought their Nintendo Switch. So we've just been, you know, connecting, building that brotherhood, keep doing it. So,
What's the most important thing you learned from Coach Stout?
What's the most important thing I learned from Coach Stout? Oh, wow. Damn, that's a tough question. That's a tough question. It's taught me so much. I don't know which one would be the most important.
Any of them. You said you went to Coach Stout University, so.
I think the one thing that he the last couple of years especially will probably be if you can't be satisfied with the person you look in the mirror after a game.
Back to meetings and then going on the field. It was just, you know, the sun was out. I feel like in Philly the past few weeks it's kind of been cloudy, gloomy, you know, raining, and so it felt good to get out there, get some sunshine, and really had a crisp practice. So, you know, that's really all you can ask for. I think it's part of the process. Like, obviously, it comes with the territory, but, you know, I knew this coming in my first time. I knew it coming in this time, but the game is all about the fan experience. So, you know, I think we're very fortunate to be where we're at, and really just let the, you know, the days take their course, and the game will be here before we know it. Yeah. I think it'd be awesome. I just think overall the expansion and bringing in new fans and even getting you know, players from other countries that are starting to establish themselves here. So you know, I think as far as expanding, I feel like football is the biggest that it's ever been. So it's very cool.
What artist would you like depicting you as far as your music taste? Jason said Jack Black. Who you got?
That's what he said, Jack Black.
School Rock Jack Black? He said, yeah, it's School Rock all the way.
Oh. That's a tough question.
Travis' brother said Justin Timberlake.
Justin Timberlake? I'm trying to think. It would be some type of soft rock or grunge. No, I'm gonna pick Black Hole Sun by Soundgarden in their prime. Yeah. Yeah, I just think his path is very unique. I don't know of any players that have ever really done this, and for him to go from where he was when he initially got here to where he is now, and become the player that he's become so fast it's cool to see. It's unique, and I think he's just now scratching the surface of what he's going to become. Yeah, I mean, nobody can really compete with a guy that can move that fast, is that big, and can move. There's not many guys that size that can move like him, and yeah, he's just, the more he plays, the better he's going to be. The more reps he gets, and the more experience, the better he's going to become. Yeah, it's cool. No, man, Blake's a hard worker. He always has been, and he's the guy that, played quarterback in college, and then going into the NFL, changed the position, and been in the league, I think, 9 years. So hats off to him. But I really haven't talked to anybody this week from their team, from the Chiefs. So I don't know. I'll talk to him on Sunday. Yeah, at home in a safe. I really don't ever take it out or wear it. I haven't worn it, so yeah. Never worn it. Okay.
Yeah, you're 100% 10-year right tackle for the Philadelphia Eagles. I know we've got something in common. We share one of the great trainers. Our guy, Gabe Brink, was one of our guys. So, yes, I want to talk to you about your offseason regimen. I mean, this year you started 15 games. You had a little something at the end, but I know you're not 100%, but what have you been doing to be able to get back out there and play to the best of your ability? I know you're not at 100%.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of it comes, whatever is deficient, you have to work for the compensation, so make the other muscle stronger. So really just going in with the trainers during the day, and then when I get home, I do work with Gabe. A lot of it's just lower body strength and flexibility, and trying to get those muscles stronger to help support that. So not very fun stuff, but effective.
How different is this offense, especially year 3 of Jalen Hurts? You've been around different quarterbacks. How different is this offense for you now?
Yeah, I just think the acquisitions that we made in the offseason, combined with guys getting a whole lot more experience, guys just elevating. There's been games where we've won the game by passing consistently, and there's been games where we won effectively by the run game. So, but I feel like with every game that we've established ourselves, we're very diverse.
How cool is it on this offensive line, knowing that your number may get called, that you'll be out on the perimeter at some point? You're not afraid to, if it's a screen play or plays that get you to the outside. So much offensive lineman movement. I know it's because of your athletic ability, but is that something you guys tell coach, hey, give me more out on the perimeter, try to get more of these guys going east and west?
Yeah, I mean, the screen game's always been big for us. Our guards are very quick. Landon, Isaac, and then Kels, and then there's a few screens that Jordan and I participate on, but really it's all about landmarks, it's about speed. Then once they get out, it's like basketball, don't get shook.
The leadership of Jalen Hurts, you had a chance to see it up close and personal in 3 short seasons. What does he bring to the offense, and how is he in the huddle?
He's always calm. He's always got a calm demeanor. But man, he works, and you respect how strong he is. He puts in time in the weight room. Power lifter in high school, so very unique in his ability to run the ball and what he's doing in the passing game. And really, just his leadership is all about his attitude and just he's always, I feel like, stoic with any situation that's thrown at him. He's always been the same.
Last question for you, Lane. How are you handling this week in terms of all the media requests? I know it's a little bit different than Minnesota, a little bit warmer out here in Phoenix, but how are you been handling this week so far?
and I'm enjoying it. We've had beautiful weather out here, so soaking that in, and really, we're at a nice place, and no complaints. So just, when it's time to practice, when it's time to go to meetings, when it's time to go to the grindstone, stay on the process, and that's really it.
Best of luck on Sunday, man.
Yeah, thank you.
All right. Back to you, Jim Pat.
Yeah, thank you. Very similar. I feel like we had a unique blend of talent, a bunch of savvy vets, and then a bunch of skilled young players and guys that really drive the team. So I'll say they're pretty similar in that way. I would never rule it out. That was a unique play, and being a part of that game, you never know when that moment's going to come. So we'll see. Thank you. Hello, doing good. Yeah. Yeah, I believe that's where my heart is. I enjoy doing it, and I feel like when you develop guys, you can really live through them and, really help them out in the long run, in the grand scheme of things. Yeah, like I said earlier, he's a guy that's very unique with his size and speed. There's not very many guys that are 6'8", 375 plus, and can move and bend and move laterally. Hell, he can even sing too. So he's a unique dude in all aspects of the game, and he's just scratching the surface. And I feel like the more experience he gets, the better he's going to get. All right, thank you.
About how important the guys who were here, the last Super Bowl, kind of helping the mindset and calming the nerves of those who had never been through it.
Yeah, you really, when you look at it, you got to treat the process as it is. When you're in meetings, be there in meetings, and when you're doing media, you're doing media. So everything has a part in the grand scheme of things, and really just try to enjoy yourself. The practice field, sunny, it's good weather, good temperature, so enjoying it, and really not treating it any different as far as, in between the lines.
Is it a different kind of pressure when you already have a ring versus like that, hunger to get one of them, or it's just even more intense to get the second one?
Yeah, I feel like every game you participate in is intense. Every game you want to win. And really, we're all about competing. Sirianni has always preached that in everything we do. So, yeah, man, we're taking this game serious, and just really focusing on that.
Why do you think Jason is connected so well with the local fans since he's been here? What about him in that sense?
Yeah, I just think he's authentic. He's being himself, and he's from Cleveland, and I just think his character and where he came from really molded him into the person he is. And he's funny. He can be stern at times. He's a great leader, but just always puts a smile on your face. And really, he leads by example and has been for 12 years. And just with his ability on the field too, that's unique. He's probably one of the freakiest guys ever at the center position. With his movement and what he can do in the screen game and some of his plays that I feel like there's not another center I know that can do that.
Yeah, well, I have a great coach first and foremost in Jeff Stoutland, we've been together for 10 years. Before him, I had an unbelievable coach at Howard Mudd.
I play with great players next to me that allow me to play to my strengths. So I think all these things, on top of, hard work, dedication, focus, and a desire to improve each and every day, have probably all led to that continual growth. I mean, it's an unbelievable moment for the game. It's honestly, it's pretty crazy in a game that, is, African Americans have been in this game for a long time, and the fact that this is the first time in a Super Bowl there's going to be 2 African American quarterbacks, that's a mind-blowing statistic. So for that to finally take place and for these guys to be breaking that barrier, that's an awesome moment for the NFL.
Jason, your mom said both of you.
Man, I don't know, man. Viva Mexico, yeah. I think.
Have you been to Mexico yourself?
I have been to Mexico. Yeah.
Favorite food?
I love tacos in general, any type of taco, but you can't go wrong without that store. I would love to. I've never been to Mexico City. I would love to go to Mexico City and get a taco out that store. It's definitely on the bucket list for sure. So,
Jason, your mom said you and Travis hate to lose.
Sure.
In that Super Bowl with the Harbaughs, John said Jim didn't talk to him for a couple months. Now, Jim may be a little crazy, but do you expect you and Travis to be able to get over it pretty quick?
I don't know. I really don't know how that's going to go. We both definitely don't like losing. So I don't know. Yeah, it's going to be a mixed bag of emotions, if I'm being honest. One of us is going to be extremely happy. One of us is going to be extremely sad. But even the guy that's extremely happy is still going to feel a certain type of way that your other brother just lost. So it's going to be a mixed bag of emotions after the game and leading up to the game on Sunday. And I'm not sure how that's going to transpire until afterwards. Emotions are hard to predict sometimes.
And I know you growing up in the Cleveland area, you and Travis probably wanted to win the Super Bowl for the Browns growing up and dreamed of that. But
for sure.
We're just talking to Haason Reddick.
Yeah, man, hometown kid, yeah.
His mom and dad are, Eagles fans, grew up there. Can you imagine what he's going through, trying to bring a championship back to Philly?
Yeah, it's a dream come true. It's a dream come true for the family, their entire community. This is a hometown kid who's had an unbelievable year. Has been the highlight of the offseason acquisitions, and a big reason we're here with what happened this last game. So, awesome moment for him, his family, Temple. A lot of good stuff going on right now with his son.
Did you say you recorded your last podcast?
We did on Radio Row.
Did you ever find out more about your grandfather being a spy?
Yeah, my mom. So somebody wrote an article, and I could pull it up. He was charged with something, but it was more of like what I think happened was he was getting fired or something like that. He stole some plans from whatever manufacturer he was working for, partnered with somebody in Russia. So I don't know if he was actually helping Russia or I don't know what the full level of that was, but definitely some shadiness going on.
Family story.
Yeah, it has a legacy of Donald Blaylock. He's a very
was young, and you always want the best for him. You see him veering off, you kind of pull him to the side, and you get to you talk to him and kind of bring him back.
I was in Minnesota. What would you like to get another one of these
It would be great, but there's still work to do. We still got to practice Thursday and Friday, and we still got our mock game on Saturday, and there's still work to be put in, and we just got to do it. We're not to the top of that mountain yet.
Players and coaches talk about consistency and stability, staying in routine.
there a unique perspective, though, that people who have played in the Super Bowl before can offer to some of the younger players or the experienced players?
The good thing about it is, you know, when we say the number routine, our practice routine is the same. You know, only thing that kind of adds in is there's maybe a few, you know, like media sessions that we would have to do, and you know, things that's mandatory from the league. But as far as the practice schedule, our practice schedule is exactly the same as we were at home, and you got to commend Coach for doing that. You know, not letting, you know, just the whole media thing and, you know, the mandatory stuff that we have to do get in the way of what we come here to take care of.
Have there been any points of advice you've been able to give, you know, some players when this is their first Super Bowl on how to stay focused despite all the glitz and the glamour of the Super Bowl?
Well, knowing that there's going to be long days, you know, knowing that there's going to be some kind of distractions going on, but you just can't buy into those distractions. You know, the biggest thing is you got to lock in and know what we're doing and just follow the leaders. You know, if you see a leader going somewhere, you should follow him. You know, and the biggest thing about this team is we have no problem with that because there's so much leadership on this team that we always, you know, we'll bring guys back that if we see them, you know, kind of wandering off or doing something, you know, that we think that's not good for them. And that's the special part about it. You know what's weird? I only listen to music from the hotel to the stadium. As soon as I get to the stadium, I take my headphones off because I want to hear, feel, and see what's going on around me. And that's always been my thing. I'm not a big headphone guy when I warm up outside in the locker room. You know, our music is loud enough in the locker room, and so I just always been that same way.
So much talk about the historical nature of this game of two black quarterbacks, but we're not seeing much progress in terms of black head coaches. What needs to happen? What do you think needs to happen in order for real change, real sustained change to happen on that front?
I mean, I really don't. I don't. You know, there's, you know, clubs do what they want to do, organizations do what they want to do, and you know, you really want to give them, you know, African Americans chances to coach, you know, to lead organizations, and you know, that's the biggest thing about it. So that's kind of all I'm just really gonna say about that. You know, I don't really get caught up in, you know, the whole all of that, but you know, I mean, we deserve a chance, and you know, there's been D'Amico Ryan's guy I played with, so happy for him, and you know, that's very special. You know, to see a guy that you actually play with for a couple years to become a head coach at a team that he started his career with.
Did you see yourself coaching down
No.
there? No.
What's the hardest thing about preparing for a game like this, maybe with an opponent you're not familiar with, or as familiar with?
I mean, we played them last year, but they're a different team. We're a different team, you know, and they got some really good players. And that's the thing about being pros. You got to be able to adjust and, you know, on the fly. You got to be able to prepare for somebody you haven't seen before. And you know, that's something we've done all year. Obviously, you got your division games, but you got teams that you normally don't play each year. So when you can adjust your game plans and, you know, adjust things that you normally don't do, is really good. But, you know, we keep the main thing. It don't matter what play he calls. We have to execute the play. Oh, all right, man.